Hi everyone, welcome to September in Milan. September in Milan is always a little nerve-wracking because you wonder what happened while I was on vacation. Did all my plants die? Do I have anything left? It's always a big nail biter. You never know. So you can see behind me we have new propagation. I counted, I think about 13 or 14 new plants because the ivy did so well. And when it trails that long, you can easily chop it off and propagate it, throw it in some water. In about a month or two, we'll have new plants from that. So very excited about that. Some things didn't fare so well. We'll go through that too. And we'll take a tour of what's there now. Sammy the giant squid, or as his official name is, Acquagenius. Not such a genius. This says it should last for 18 days. No, that's not true. We were gone for 13 days and it was bone dry. By the level of dryness of the plants, I'm guessing it lasted about 10 days. So would I trust this Sammy the giant squid in the future? I would trust it for a week to 10 days, but it doesn't solve our, month-long holiday situation. Great. So what do we do? Well, I found this at Brico the other day, and we're gonna give this a test. This is one of those things that you put into the dirt, and you put a 2-liter bottle of water on it, and we'll see. It's a new kind that has a little regulator on it, regulator timer thing. And we'll give this a test, and I'll come back to you in a few months and let you know how it did. There are 4 pieces in here. I'm only gonna test it on one plant though and see. It says up to 45 days. I have my doubts on a 2-liter bottle of water. Well, we'll see. But let's see what's going on the balcony. All the plants will be getting a haircut and or deadheading as needed with my trusty Fiskars gardening shears. I do trust this brand, so I wanted to point them out. They have a lock. I've used their sewing shears also for many years, had no problems. So if I can find a link for these or something similar from Fiskars, I will put it below. For the Florlis, if I can find a link for these, I will also put it below. For all of you that are new, I'm Tammy. Thanks for joining us. Please like and subscribe. That would help so much. And I live here in Milan in 800 square feet. I love to talk to you about balcony gardening and how to fit everything into our tiny apartment with no closets. Okay, from this end of the balcony, first we see our peace lily. This is in the winter a house plant. In the summer it does really well out here against the wall where it gets lots of good shade but fresh warm air. It got a little toasty here on the tips, but nothing it can't handle. So it got enough water. We came home in time, so good job, peace lily. It's happy. Our snake plant, also a house plant when the weather gets colder, but it also likes it on the balcony. You can't really kill these. It's difficult, only if you overwater them, which I have done. The rose bush, surprisingly, I thought I would come home and this would be a wilted little husk on the floor, but it has new leaves here. We've got new leaves here and new leaves here. What I'm gonna do is get some moss and use the moss to hold in water for all the plants, actually, some nice fresh living moss. Backing up a little bit, this planter had succulents, it had aloe, and in the center there was a geranium. The geranium bit the dust faster than anything. I was shocked. However, in its defense, it was in its own pot before the holidays. So I don't know whether it just didn't like its 2 neighbors here, you guys not playing friendly, or what the problem was. The aloe, however, picked up so much by being in this container. And this succulent, you can't kill this, and you propagate it, you know, till forever, and it loves it. So good job. Here's a new little pot that I just planted. You'll see that in a minute. And these are new. I just got these. You'll see that too. We took a field trip to Hobby Garden Navigli, which is so awesome. And you know that when I have small pots on the balcony, they have to change all the time. They go into bigger pots, we get new propagation that has to go into them. So these are very helpful to keep things up off the floor and be able to move them around and not have to put them into big planters. So I got 4 of these. I think they were about €10 each, which is not so cheap, but I'm gonna use them forever, so I'll take it. This, the ivy, the variegated ivy, did so well this year that it's really long and growing, and I do want it to grow up over the balcony. So the center jasmine-y thing, dead, which it's okay. It was kind of struggling and straggly looking to begin with. So just these 2 plants, these 2 species in this planter is fine with me. Oh, and you'll also see that these were the propagations that rooted over the August holiday, and I just finally stuck them in here. So they now have a home, and probably you can turn that around so they can go over the balcony that way. How about that? So yay, new plants. This is a new addition. Sage. Hello, sage. We always need that for cooking. So, and it really doesn't like to be with friends here on the balcony. I had sage as an underplanting to the jasmine, and it hated it. And the jasmine hated it too. So it likes to be alone. So fun, be alone. And let's see, this one. This also had one of the straggly jasmines in the center. I just cut it down to nothing. This will be just ivy, which is fine. I like it that way, variegated ivy. This, here we have a new addition. I just did, yesterday? Thyme. We use thyme as well in the kitchen. I wanted to use up these terracotta pots that were empty because I had combined everything into the bigger planters. So, you know, when you can get thyme at the grocery store for $2, this size, they're pretty good. Moving on down the line. This one also, same situation as the other ones of this shape. These planters, by the way, I did get originally at Hobby Garden. And this is still the succulent and the variegated ivy, and we're good. And then I added another basil plant, just because we use that a lot. Let's back up here and see the hydrangea and ivy. The hydrangea I just cut back, and you'll see in a minute. It was pretty straggly from lack of water the last few days when the watering system failed. So to give the new growth, you know, to give the leaves plenty of chances, I just chopped everything back. It's September, it's okay, we'll be fine. I also gave the ivy a haircut for more propagation, but it looks like I need more. If I let these go too long, they start trying to root into the floor or the wall or whatever. So in this pot, I try to keep them pretty short and use the long trails as propagation. Here we have the jasmine. It did really well. I even see some new growth, and you'll see I did have a watering gel as a test, and it seemed to have helped it. I had it in here and also in here and also in the rose bush, and it seemed to have helped a little bit. So I don't know how much, but you know, we'll see. You can see here the lemon tree looks nice and healthy now. That wasn't so much the case when we got back home. It had gone probably a good few days without water. All the leaves were facing up and I was pretty scared. But we've been watering it heavily since we got home, and it perked right back up. We got home just in time. I'm also going to add some moss around the bottom of this to help protect it from the cold when the weather starts getting colder Although we will have to take it in the winter for sure. And down here, our herb garden extraordinaire. The rosemary, totally fine, didn't do much. The ivy, totally fine, didn't do much. The basil seems to look pretty good. The oregano was up here and looking dry, so I just gave that a haircut, and that's totally good now. Good to go. Pulled out a couple of little weeds. And here we see the little pine tree, Christmas tree, back in its original habitat. It did not suffer at all from a few days without water, so happy to see that. That was a tiny Christmas tree bought and then planted, and totally fine. And this is a new little one that I just pulled off, you know, snipped a little thing off of the big plant, plopped it in there. Now we have a new plant. That's how easy these are. Love them. Gave the cart a little clean. And over here in the mess, just put the excess dirt over here for future plants, because we're propagating a lot of ivy for the future. This is Hobby Garden Navigli. When you need plants, you come here. That's what we need.
How many?
Rose. I hear someone. I hear the geese. Hello, geese. You're the geese of the Hobby Garden? Hello. You like living here? I see your nice house. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not coming near you. Don't worry. These geese rule the Hobby Garden. And they're not putting up with any of my nonsense. That's their little house back there. Let's see if we can get to it. Thank you. There's their house. They live here. They're monitoring the situation. And the other special resident of Hobby Garden Navigli is this guy. I don't know his name, but he's always here. In the winter, he's inside. When it's nice out like now, he's outside. He likes it here. Hello. Hello. seriously, propagating these is this easy. Not exaggerating. The trick I've found is, number one, a glass jar. So it can get sunlight in there and you can see how the roots are doing. Number two, you want the longest possible stem you can find with as many leaves. When I've done shorter stems like this, I have no confidence that this will root, honestly. I cut this one by accident. But the long ones have enough leaves to take up enough sunlight to make the roots that you need. So you need really long trailing ones to root easily. And I just took off about bottom 2-3 inches or as much as is going to be in the water, and just make sure you keep the bottom watered. That's it. Not difficult. Please hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps out the channel so much. And let me know down in the comments what future content you'd like to see.